Good morning, everybody. Thank you for attending this course. I'm going to tell you today about ECORETINA, which is a green flexible algorithm for model building. The idea of this new algorithm is to try to improve on linear regression, nonlinear regression, and neural networks. The idea is that these are used a lot by researchers in many fields, and we want to improve on that and make this available to everybody using our new techniques. This paper that I'm going to tell you about today is joined with Javier Capilla, Alba Alcaraz, Ángel Valarezo, Alfredo García Yernos, and myself, Teodosio Pérez Amaral. We are from the Institute of Economic Analysis of the University Complutense of Madrid, and we are working under the umbrella of the infield project for the European Commission. I want to start now trying to convince you that it is important to have algorithms that are useful, that are relatively simple to use, and that are effective for obtaining our desired results. So we want, in principle, we want an algorithm for AI purposes that is eco-friendly, which is useful for out-of-sample prediction, and which is a flexible regression-based approximator. We want it to be linear in the parameters, but not necessarily linear in the inputs. We want actually non-linearities in the inputs to be able to capture non-linearities in the processes that we want to model. We want also to use a selective model search to improve the speed, and we want to emphasize speed, accuracy, and environmental sustainability in the algorithm. We want it also, if possible, to be modular and transparent, open source, and be useful for explicit modeling, out of sample forecasting, and not necessarily a black box. Should be easily interpretable and modifiable, and we want it to be interpretable in the sense that we get a list of relevant transformations that give us coefficients, standard deviations, and confidence intervals. It should be also useful for forecasting at a low cost. It should be have a user-friendly interface. It would be useful for reducing carbon footprint and computational time in relationship with other competing algorithms. We want it to be an alternative to neural networks and surpass it in certain contexts, if possible. We want a major change in the philosophy with respect to neural networks, and that is what we are going to do. And we want it to be programmable in an accessible language like Python, and it is now already available in GitHub, and we will show you in the next lesson how you can actually access in GitHub, and also how to use it, and how to be able to install it in your local machine. The idea of this algorithm comes from Albert White, whom you may know because he was very famous because of the heteroscedasticity consistent covariance matrix estimator, and he devised also the test for heteroscedasticity in econometrics, and he and myself were working on an alternative to neural networks to improve the bottlenecks of these type of algorithms, speed convergence, and avoid the black box. So we wanted to devise an algorithm that would fulfill the previous characteristics: linear in the parameters, non-linear in the inputs, do a selective search of models, obtain path independence, focus on out-of-sample forecasting, controlling the multicollinearity, and modeling the conditional mean of y, that is expected value of y given x's. That is what we want to model in this algorithm. So let us tell you a little bit about the um, reasons why we are working on this. The concerns are that we want power consumption and carbon footprint of A-related models. They are high, and they are dangerously high in general, and that is why there is a green literature on AI, a green AI, that is called in Strubel, Schwartz, CAC, OECD, Verdecchia, and Bouza et Ali, among others. So there is a concern about the complete depletion of available energy resources by 2030, and large technological firms are consuming very heavily and investing very heavily in alternative ways of obtaining power, in particular electricity. The European Commission is worried about these problems and is funding several projects. For instance, our project is called Infield, European Lighthouse to Manifest Trustworthy and Green AI. So there is a lot of worry about the very high power consumption and carbon footprint of AI-related algorithms. Our response to that worry is ECORETINA, which is based on a previous version of Retina by myself and Albert White, and also by Marinucci. And here, what we are going to present is a preliminary release of the new version, which is called EcoRetina, that is essentially by Capilla 2024. This is an algorithm, EcoRetina, which is green by design. It is a regression-based flexible approximator. It is linear in the parameters to improve convergence, and it is nonlinear in the inputs to provide flexibility for approximation. Other characteristics of this algorithm are that it is open source, it is modular, it uses a selective search instead of exhaustive search. uses a multicollinearity threshold to control for multicollinearity. It is based on auto-sample forecasting and useful for cross-validation. It is explicit. It gives an explicit and interpretable forecasting model, and it emphasizes speed, accuracy, environmental sustainability, and interpretability. It worries about CO2 emissions and energy consumptions, and it is centered in bottleneck removal. What we want to do here is to present a research in artificial intelligence that produces new outcomes and with a decreasing computational cost and ideally reducing them. And what is our contribution here is to use better algorithms. It can be done by either using smaller data sets or less computationally intensive model training or renewable energy sources, but our main contribution is better algorithms.